Hey there, welcome to episode 30 of the Cafe Genius Impresarios audio program. Today we are recording on September 21st. It is Thursday evening, and it's been a busy week, which is good for some of us. And so this week's episode is Argumentum ad populum de minoritate. And so this week's episode is Argumentum ad populum de minoritate. It is the appeal to the people of the minority, of course. You knew that. I think it's Argumentum ad populum is appeal to the people, which is it's something you hear about on the news with politics, but isn't always true. But anyway, let's get to it. I am your solo host, Dan Hugo, by the way, in case you forgot, or if you're just catching the show for the first time. We're talking about our entrepreneurial innovation ecosystem of the greater Vegas area, although this could apply to you wherever you are. So this week we will speak of groupthink, the common knowledge effect, and basically what happens when a very few people, whether they are paying attention or whether they are in the in crowd, when a very few people are making important decisions that affect a great many people, even though perhaps only a slightly larger few people are actually paying attention or even know about it. So as I said, normally we would say it's an appeal to the people. I'm particularly concerned about when those appeals are to a small group of people, a select group, an in crowd. They're making important decisions that will affect the majority, and yet the majority is not aware. Perhaps we are, like I said, a minority of people are doing this and they don't communicate. It's behind closed doors. This is not uncommon in the greater Vegas area, a group of people, especially if they're all friends. The in-group tends to be fairly incestuous anywhere, not just here. They all know each other, they all cooperate, and that's where that groupthink comes in. They protect each other. You might have someone like me who likes to be contrarian, thinking logically and about how systems will be impacted by bad decisions. And so people like me will stir up the pot, as they say, and groupthink likes to think together as a unit. Don't rock the boat. And so I'm always concerned, not just here, just in general, when you start seeing some preferences or some long-ranging decisions that could have a negative impact on those of us who, and I would say in an economy of any kind, most of the people in it are investors of sort. Maybe their time, their interest, their financial resources put at risk, whether they're a venture capitalist or a small business owner, or maybe you're just paying a mortgage and contributing to the tax base. So awareness of the what is planned is diminished in favor of contempt for what is not working. So my concern when the minority is making decisions in a vacuum, groupthink, and the common knowledge effect, well, of course we all know this is a problem that we need to solve. Without involving more people or more diverse opinions, you end up with the people outside of the in-group having awareness, not having awareness of what is planned. They're not in, so they end up developing contempt for what they experience, what they see, what eventually comes of these plans. And then you see social media posts expressing this contempt for what is not working. The minority, the in-group, groupthink, common knowledge effect, making decisions poorly, in my opinion, and then everybody gets to deal with it. So a couple of things here in the greater Vegas area that I've talked about previously. I like consonants. So halos, hype, and headlines. We believe the headlines that we read here in social media in the greater Vegas area, in particular, my least favorite social media website of all the ones that I have had to use, although my use is diminished substantially. I'm deprecating it through the year. But LinkedIn in the greater Vegas area is granted a certain amount of credibility. And so people tend to post favorable headlines. People like comment, the emoji likes with the love and support, but they don't read the actual articles. How do I know this? Well, the articles are not always favorable. Or, well, I don't know if you know this, the headlines of many, outside of personal blogging, maybe smaller publications, but typically headlines are created by editors with one goal: to get attention, to capture eyeballs or clicks or both. So the headline may not actually align completely, but it sounds good. So in this case, the headlines that are posted on LinkedIn, for example, are often, they're posted by the usual people in the in-group. They are liked by others in the in-group. And then, the second order, hey, this is a great article, and so on. But they don't read them. So I actually have a couple of links that I've included in the show notes, which you probably don't read, but let's check it out. Only a couple. I don't want to rehash history, but a couple of my favorites. This one made me laugh, actually. Thousands of California businesses have fled the Golden State for Las Vegas. Variations on this theme are that people from San Francisco are moving to Las Vegas. So they're very more specific, very excited that people from the Bay Area, San Francisco, Silicon Valley, are moving to Las Vegas, which of course means that Las Vegas will be the next Silicon Valley because they're all coming here. Now, what you may not know, and since I lived in Silicon Valley proper, I lived in the South Bay in Sunnyvale, California, I will tell you, there are a lot of people in Silicon Valley who are not making Silicon Valley wages, who would love to move to Las Vegas and pay less rent, no income tax, etc. Are people moving here to start tech companies, the next unicorns? Maybe, maybe not. But that's a bad assumption. So I'm concerned when I see headlines like that and the thousands of California businesses fleeing to move to Vegas. By the way, that is since the 90s. So the headline makes it sound like they're just doing this now. But in fact, 30 years of data. So yeah, that's possible. And probably thousands have left the Las Vegas area to move to California or other places, Austin, New York, Denver, Utah. I know I mix cities and states, that's fine. Other places. Las Vegas ranks number 2 destination for ex-San Francisco residents. Like I said, that's a specific headline. But in general, the presumption is that people are moving here from California to be tech unicorns. Not always the case. So yeah, I don't want to stick to that theme too much. So the other one that was my favorite, Las Vegas, was number 1 for early stage startups in the U.S. Study says. Now, if you actually read the study, not the article, the study. The article was published by the person who wrote the study, but it was favorable. The first thing they did was factor out the number 1 startup cities. Early stage startups in San Francisco Bay Area, where everybody's moving here from. New York, Austin, probably Salt Lake. I can't remember the entire list. You can check it out yourself. Those were left out. So Las Vegas is number 1 of the number 2 cities. But the headline received a lot of attention, a lot of reshares, a lot of likes, a lot of excitement. You'll see other articles about housing. You will see recently in the past few weeks, and again, this is Thursday, September 21st, 2023. So I think within sometime during the summer, let's just leave it there, housing, people were moving in, a lot of house purchases, real estate was benefiting, obviously a seller's market. What you will not see, that didn't sound right, what you will not encounter, a headline you will not come across, posted and shared in social media from the in crowd here is that Las Vegas, city of Las Vegas, or it's difficult to say since they do often conflate Southern Nevada, Clark County, city of, but let's say city of possibly Las Vegas, as stated, is the number 3 city in the United States for foreclosure on homes. I think it was 1 in 1,700 homes has been foreclosed on. So we are number 3. We always want to be number 1, though, so we'll see. So why am I harping on this? Well, headlines are pushed by a minority to bolster views that the greater Vegas area is a blazing success, about to blow up, going to be the next big thing. And in some cases, that's true. When it comes to road paving, we are number 1. We have to be. Traffic poor public transit, casinos, bedbugs, cyber attacks on casinos and impact on tourism, horrible baseball teams getting tons of money to build stadiums. We are leading the way. The Fontainebleau is going to open after hundreds of years of development, finally, at long last. Some of those headlines you won't actually see, but we are always very excited when the positive headlines come out. They're celebrated. And my concern with that, the whole reason I'm harping on all of this, is that there will be a notion that we are about to blow up. Like I said, we're about to be the next Silicon Valley. We're going to be at the next big innovation hub. Bring your startup to Las Vegas. We want your unicorns. We want to invest big dollars, have big exits. And I don't know if anybody's thought it through past that. So because we're going to blow up, we're always excited to see hype. We're always excited to see the latest thing. Hollywood 2.0. It's going to be the next big thing. Eventually. Well, I did hear today the writer's strike might end either soon or next year. So maybe. So Hollywood 2.0, we're going to be the next big biotech center. We're going to be a machine learning hub. We're not going to be a lithium mine economy. Northern Nevada has that covered. Recent find. Congratulations, by the way. That's good news. It's always good to have a natural resource commodity that's in demand, which it will be. It'd be cool if they found phosphorus, phosphates, any sort of a big giant bat cave with tons of guano in it. That would be nice for a food supply, but we didn't get that. We got lithium, which is fine. Lithium is not it is the most prevalent, but it is not a great battery technology. Cobalt would have been better. Cobalt is very hard to come by, but the hype train says we are in the money thanks to our lithium mine find. So congratulations again. I'm not really poo-pooing that too much. It's great. We have a place to have lithium for batteries. That's wonderful. It happens that the Gigafactory is right down the street. Who knew? Luckily, we have sorted out all the financing so that rather than education, we gave tax credits to one of the richest people in the world. So the hype and the headlines go together great, and then we take a halo and affix it firmly to the top of the heads of various people who may or may not be credible, may or not be competent, and who may or may not be actually doing anything. I'm surrounded by those people here. You know them. I won't repeat their names here today, but halo, hype, and headlines means that there's a lot of hand-waving by the in-crowd, the inner circle, if you will. And groupthink makes reinforcing those notions easy because you're surrounded by people who know, they know you. Everybody's very excited. Nobody wants to say, don't say the truth. Don't speak negatively. And I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist here. I'm just simply saying that there is an in-group that has these discussions. I know it. You know it. We all know it. And so when we have these discussions, they're counterproductive to the people out of the in-group, the out-group. And we have to wonder, why are we placing so much importance on certain things that seem counterproductive? So who's making these decisions? That's a good question. 10 years ago, when I first moved to Vegas, I'm not a native local. I'm a transplant from, what's that one place in the Bay Area with the silicon? Yeah, I moved here from Silicon Valley 10 years ago, August 1st. So I've been here for 10 years and 1 month and 3 weeks. And when I first got here, the downtown project was happening, so it was interesting to see that experiment, which I think there are things to learn from it. I think it's a source of substantial information for the next steps of our entrepreneurial innovation economy and ecosystem. But in the meantime, who is flying this crazy thing? Is there a destination? And is there a plan to get there? I don't know if you like Howie Mandel. He had this joke from a long time ago. He said he would get on a plane with his friend and they would find this is before 9/11, of course. He would find the flight officers, captain and first officer, captain being the pilot, co-pilot, first officer. He would find their coats and hats, put them on, the two of them, and then they would walk through the plane, and the front person would look back and say, I thought you were flying, and hilarity. But yeah, that's sort of what I ask sometimes is who is making these decisions? Nevada wants to be the number one entrepreneurial state in the country. That was one of the planks of the platform on which our present governor, Joe Lombardo, ran. I don't know if that's true. There are some issues from when you start your company, when you try to find resources, try to find who to talk to. Oh my goodness, please do not contact SBDC nor SCORE, even if you're advised to. If you're given the name of a person, ignore it. Please find people who know what they're talking about and talk to them. Silver flume is your enemy, but it's a necessary evil. And it just goes from there. Your best bet is to survey the lay of the land, find people you actually talk to and get to know, and work with them. So the people making the decisions, so the people flying this crazy thing, stop this crazy thing. The people that are flying, why are they making the decisions they're making? Are they making good decisions? Are they experienced? Are they competent? Do they have the interests of the larger economy in mind or their own interests? Case in point, the position at the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance recently was filled. The title was something about entrepreneurial community or infrastructure. I can't remember exactly. I could look it up, but I don't want to be too specific. Some of the milestones or goals or KPIs, I suppose, that were listed in the job description were number of startups, amount of funding, number of exits. These are not about the entrepreneurial ecosystem. They're not about the economy. They're about short-term wins for investors. Yeah, there might be job creation. Yeah, there might be ripple effects in our economy. However, history will tell you that the Las Vegas ecosystem does not breed, if you will, founder funders. Salt Lake City, other parts of Utah, Silicon Valley, of course. Other places will tend to have a culture of innovation that feeds back on itself, so that people who start a company, maybe they're started from college or with their college friends or with their former coworkers and colleagues. They've established credibility in their communities, and the culture supports the collection of talent around certain ideas for startups and then the next startup and so on. So there'll be a tendency for that money from an exit, the big win, to be fed back into the next startup. I'm not giving you numbers. I will simply say that that's something that people are banking on here because you can simply come from Utah and implement the same exact notions in a place with no innovation culture, or certainly not as developed as it is in Utah, which has been developing their culture of innovation since 1960. In 1960, Las Vegas was cultivating the Rat Pack, which is fine. I'm not diminishing that, but we are a different culture. We just have a different cultural makeup, and our ecosystem is different. You cannot grow redwoods where cactus grow, and vice versa. Those are examples. I know cactus probably grow in Utah too. So the big question I have is, are you, and by that I mean everyone listening to this, your friends, your colleagues, me, people I know, are we empowered to participate in the direction that our entrepreneurial ecosystem is taking if we plan to be entrepreneurial? Or imagine if you don't, maybe you just want to live here. Hopefully things will work out. Are you going to participate, or do you try to keep to yourself and be ready to jump clear if things go explosive? And I think of that whenever I hear that this place is going to blow up. But the question I have is, was anyone paying attention during the pandemic when rents went up 25 to 40% for some part of it, pricing people out? People that were in the hospitality industry either found other jobs to make more money, or they departed. And today we have a substantial shortage of talent to work in the hospitality industry on the Strip or near it. We have Durango opening. We have the Fontainebleau opening. So these are thousands more jobs. Are we including thousands more people to fill them? Can they afford to live here? What happens if we convert our economy by completely changing our ecosystem? So suppose that's actually possible. Suppose we change our economy to be much more Silicon Valley-ish, or as I like to say, silly. What does that do to the people that have normal jobs and have been living here and making a nice, honest living? Maybe not as honest sometimes, but are those people priced out? Do we put our entire economy at risk? Our core base economy, part of it is tourism. We are adding professional sports, sports books, family entertainment. There's any number of things that are not forming unicorns aiming for exits, or the exits, if you're imagining people leaving with their money. That's what people do. So, and I always remind people that Las Vegas is a city that is built on people losing. That didn't really come out well, but casinos, resorts are not built by giving people money. They're built by taking maximal advantage of house odds. So we're not a city or a region, certainly not a culture, nor an ecosystem that favors building up. We benefit by taking. It's something to think about. So what's next? That's why I'm doing this entire episode. Participate at large. Do you just want to jump in and see what happens? Do you stick to yourself in an insular group, which is a known sort of modus operandi here? There's insular groups all over. If you read the Mo Collins report from April 29th, we had a nice episode 24 back or so. The Entrepreneurial Ecosystem Report for the state pointed out that Southern Nevada has many insular groups, and they tend to not communicate with each other. That's one way to do it. Just stick to yourself. Not that you're isolated. I'm not saying that you shun others, but you do your thing, possibly because you know that other people are doing their thing. And there's always a challenge in communicating between insular groups. Do meetups and tech alley thinking help or hinder? Those are great questions. The previous episode I did on the Dunbar number, about 150 people in one's close connection circle. Do we saturate that number by having transactional or non-close but recurring connection discussions at events like Tech Alley, or simply attending meetups that devolve into chit-chat, which is not bad. Don't get me wrong. Are those close connections? Are you receiving useful advice, useful interaction? Are you ideating? Are you taking and giving? Are you looking for clients, or are you looking for ideas and to help others with their ideas? A culture of innovation leans towards, is not dominated by, but it leans towards meetups and gatherings that are novel, that lead to ideas, idea sharing, and not 100%. You can be sociable. You can go to Tech Alley and you can meet the 20 new people that just moved to town or are kicking the tires, talk to the 80 or 90 people that are there every month, checking the box. Maybe you'll pick up a client or two, get on your way until next month. That's fine. But I'm concerned myself that people are falling into this habit of treating a once a month event as the event rather than a event, and seeking out novel connection and giving and taking, bolstering our culture of innovation. So I'm concerned for the long term, just based on my travels and what I've observed. So yeah, are you advancing a cause? Are you advancing your own cause? Are you collecting clients? What's the motivation? Where does that lead? And that gets back to the in groups and the out groups. If people are only self-serving, are they servicing a community of their own insulation, or are they part of a larger growing? And growing is a good word, but like, are they helping to foment a strong culture of innovation that carries into the younger folks, the next generation, maybe trickles up? Can trickle up? Does that work? Is that totally anti-Reagan? So yeah, that's about where I'm going to leave it this week. I have some actual concerns. I think we are like I said, we're far too excited about the 3 H's, halos, hype, and headlines. We take them all for granted. I don't see enough people reading, learning, consuming, and understanding, grokking, if you will. I'm just about 80% through Stranger in a Strange Land. I did not know that that's where grok came from. So, fun fact. Robert Heinlein, you etymological scamp you. So, do people grok what's happening, or do they just read headlines and believe what they are told? And not trying to be a conspiracy theorist here. This is actually looking at our ecosystem and where it's headed. I don't know about you. I invest a lot of time and thought. I have a lot of ideas. I am the managing director of the Innovate for Vegas Foundation. So we have a whole 501c3 public charity dedicated to the notion that we can innovate for Vegas. So when I hear from people that they are waiting for someone else to do it, I grow concerned. And when we hear and read and believe without doing our own research, without exploring, without sharing ideas with others, without elevating the culture, without taking maximal advantage of the features of our ecosystem that we do have, and making careful observation about the features we don't have so that we can focus on those, I grow more and more concerned every day that our entrepreneurial innovation ecosystem needs help. So that's where I'll leave it today. Like I said, I have a couple of links in the show notes if you happen to flip down through your podcast client or if you're on the website. I am never happy about what Spotify does to the ridiculousness that is the way that HTML content is transported in RSS feeds. That's a little inside baseball for you. I wish the world were more modern when it comes to distributing audio programming. Maybe that's something we can talk about in another episode, especially if you happen to listen to Let's Innovate for Vegas, my other audio program, all about our Innovate for Vegas projects. Give it a listen if you care to. It's on Spotify as well. I will cross-link as well. And really, we need to self-host, and I've been swamped. And so our proper platform, Smart Social, MyMuni, Open Data Capture for some deeper dives, all these things are on the horizon, mostly once we engage with people not in Nevada for some of our projects that I have talked about already. So I don't want to stretch this out too long. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for sharing with your friends. Thank you for being supportive in general for various projects that I've deployed in the world here. Pitch Workout Room, Pitch Practice, in general, Pitch Mingle, Pitch Workout Room. The Genius Roundtable, which we will reboot when I find some people that want to actually participate, and some other things. So I will talk about it in other episodes. So on that note, I thank you. Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, share. Tell your friends, wave out the window, have a coffee. Take it easy. Till next time.